I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
Y'all want to ride some of the coolest bikes around? Just Us e-bikes. Check out these cool, fast beach cruisers. We've got many styles, colors, sizes, men's, women's, you name it, we got it. The best looking bikes around. Check us out, justusebikes.com.
Sorry about that, Will.
No, that's all right.
Hey, welcome to Tuesday Night Hangout. We are going to be talking about Dave Purdins fly-in, all the good, the bad, the ugly, and a lot of mistakes were made. So we're going to get right into that right after we get the introductions. Willard, anything you want to share with us about your channel?
No, not really. I mean, I did reach a milestone, and I was happy to come home to a plaque from YouTube. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a big surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear the dogs are barking over that. They're proud.
This is happy for you.
Yeah, it's good to be here on, Pants Optional Tuesday.
That was weird.
Why?
They're trained.
He's thinking.
He's frozen. Oh, there he is.
I
There he
don't know. The dogs barked and my internet locked up.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, DP, how are you doing, sir?
I am doing well. I have a good bit of news to report. I actually got a communication today. My wing is being worked on, and things are going smoothly. So I hope to be getting that little puppy shipped to my doorstep here very soon.
Good.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yes.
great news.
It's funny. I had a dream last night that I got it today, and then I got this email today. So not quite the same, but close enough. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, Nick, anything you want to share new and exciting with you?
No, not that I know of.
You guys suck. You guys suck.
Can you make something up? I mean, we do have a show to do here.
We got a show to talk about. Which part are you talking about?
I don't
Sell
know.
any bikes?
Did you sell any bikes?
I did. I sold a couple of bikes. I spent money, made money, all the good stuff.
I spent a
Well, that's
lot of
good.
money. I spent a lot of money on this trip.
Yes.
Anyways, Krista, anything new and exciting with you? Well, not that we didn't just have our 29th wedding anniversary, but I guess no big news here. Moving on. So,
Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations, Krista.
Yeah.
when did you have a show? So tell them about that. Jesus, not even happy about that. I'd be sad too if I had to look over and look at this face. Jesus.
I
Oh,
already said that.
29 years and no, nothing to talk about. Nothing.
So
Same
on
old,
our
same
20
old.
Yeah, there are 29th anniversary.
Yeah, that'll teach you.
Okay.
Hey,
broken.
man, keeping your woman in check.
Whoa.
I don't know.
How did that kick Krista off? Because Nick has Biden internet.
Well, it kicked Dave off too.
Dave's
Huh?
here.
I'm here.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
then it kicked Nick off.
Yeah.
Whoop.
I got
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
My bad.
Well, have a good night,
let's-
Nick.
I guess Nick was done. I guess he was done.
His dogs were barking. His dogs were barking.
Said what he had to say.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Do you guys know what Nick's dogs' names are?
I don't.
Me.
Hold on. One is Timex. The other one is Rolex. They're his watchdogs.
But I'm pumped.
Dave.
All right, their real names are Zeus and Apollo.
I can talk crap.
I'll tell you what. Can we mix it up just a little bit tonight?
Yes,
I'm
sir.
going to start off by doing something I never do, and that's to tell a joke, not like a knock knock type thing. I'm going to try to explain the joke, and you tell me if you get it. Okay, Krista.
Okay.
All right. So this guy walks into a bar, and he's sitting there, at the bar, and he looks over in the corner, and he sees this freaking what looks like a gorilla in the corner, and he gets the bartender's attention, and he says, "Man, is that a gorilla in the corner?" And he says, "Oh yeah, that's Mabel. She's our house gorilla." And he says, she does some tricks. If you want to see, I'll show you. He says, I guess. So he calls Mabel over. The gorilla kind of lumbers over there, and the bartender takes out this big lead real hard, And immediately she falls to her knees and she starts, kind of giving lip service to the to the bartender. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Got it.
So that's one of the tricks. And the bartender is like, "Man, isn't that really cool?" And he says, "Yeah, I guess it is kind of cool." And then the bartender says, "Well, would you like to try?" And he said, "Well, I guess, just don't hit me so hard."
Okay.
Ice broken.
No,
I think I get it.
Yeah. No explanation needed.
Good.
All right.
You see, the gorilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's trained.
So let's go ahead and talk about Dave Purdins. Well, let me backtrack. So Smart Car Brian and I went to the family farm in Krista. And he showed up later because of Wendy. Anyways, I had nothing but problems with my motor. Had a silencer. Decide to go out during flight. That video will be coming out soon. And then we get to Purdins, and Thursday morning we decide to take off. I had a 4-minute flight because my carburetor wasn't running right. So I took off, landed, and we messed with it. Everything was fine. So the night of said bad weather, all of the apps that we were using, none of them said anything over 8 miles an hour gust of wind. So we're talking anywhere between 18 to 20 plus pilots that landed out that night. So whatever apps everyone uses, none of those apps showed high gusts.
And Will can explain that.
Yes, Will. Can you explain that?
Are you talking about the difference between convective activity and frontal activity? Yeah, so fronts are real easy to predict because they're already on the map, right? But convection is harder to predict. It's still predictable, but it's harder to predict because of the uneven heating of the Earth's surface, right? So, and that's why you get these pop-up storms, especially in Florida. Florida gets them all the time in the afternoons, right? In the summertime. Yep. That's all convection. So you just got to be on the lookout for it. Now, there were some telltale signs, and I am not an authority on weather anyway, but there was I can't remember. It hadn't rained that day, had it? Or it hadn't stormed. So all of that energy was pent up in the atmosphere, whereas the next day, I think it did rain.
It did rain.
And we had a little storm. A real small one or whatever. That took some of the energy out of the atmosphere. So, that was just my take on it. That
to my knowledge, I remember you saying there was no app that tells you gusts like that.
Oh, no. I was saying the app that I was using, Ryan Carlton, doesn't show gusts. It just shows the winds aloft. And the wind's 33 feet off the surface. So there are, like windy and stuff, they'll show you predicted gusts, but even they've got 5 different models,
right.
I have to average them out.
Okay, so
Thanks for that, Will.
yeah, well,
Only because we talked about it.
so I guess Nick, you were behind me, and of course, you guys seen the video. I was following Brian, paying attention to Brian. We always talk about don't show off for cameras, don't get what is it called, camera or starstruck or whatever with showing off. But do we ever talk about
Urge.
yeah, camera courage? Yeah, don't ever. We never talk about being the cameraman, and that's where it. I mean, I was paying attention to Brian. I was not paying attention in front of me or above me, and yeah, I got almost got caught up in some lines. I could have made a better decision, in my opinion, after looking at the video. That if I would have pulled to the left instead of the right, I wouldn't have almost put myself in the trees. That was fun.
But there was also Nick was flying right above you.
Yeah, I was probably 50 feet behind you and 50 feet above you. So
So
once you started maneuvering, I was watching Brian too. I mean, I would have probably cleared them, but as soon as you banked right, instantly I thought something was wrong. So I went up and banked right too and made a complete circle.
Yeah, I made a complete circle too. So after that, and I circled back around, you circled back around, you made it over to power lines.
Yep.
And I shortly after that made it over to power lines. As I'm dropping altitude, I did notice that and in the video you'll see me look up like why am I not moving? Like I at this point thought that possibly I did hit those power lines or something messed up my wing because I was not flying forward anymore. And you need to show everybody Charlie's new mohawk. Charlie has gotten a mohawk by his sister.
I was wondering if that was a goat for a second.
I freaking love it. I love it. I think she looks freaking awesome. She looks partially retarded, but I do think she looks amazing.
Yep.
Anyways, so once I noticed that I wasn't making forward progression, I did start feeling the push back, even though I was flying forward, I was flying backwards. So being in the position that I was, I honestly thought my best bet would be to hide behind the trees because that's really the only angle I had. I tried turning left. I didn't go anywhere. I turned to the right and I went that way immediately. So everyone's asking me why I chose to go and deal with the downward side of the rotor of the trees because that's the only one I had. I did. First of all, I want you to understand I did not rationally think in the moment that was my only option. Now that I've sat and thought about it, that was my only option. I made, in my opinion, what was the best choice. I knew if I could get behind the windrow, I would be better off.
okay.
Now, on the left side of the trees, where the power lines were that I was getting pushed back to, if I would have went up, I wouldn't have been high enough if I would have had a collapse to throw a reserve. And if I was high enough, I would have just ended up landing in the damn power line. So I was like, my only option is the soybean field next to me and deal with the rotor. And the rotor truly wasn't nearly as bad. Nick, your landing was 10 times more intense than mine was. Mine was amplified by the rotor off the trees, but once I got my wing below that, it wasn't flyable, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the other side of the trees.
So I have a question.
What?
Nick has a brand new wing, smaller. So did it have more lift than yours? So is that what made it look worse?
No, he was out in the open.
I was in the open area.
Okay.
There was no rotor around us. I mean, all we had was soybeans on both sides of us. So, and you're right, it was my third flight, less than 3 hours on a brand new wing. So
Yeah.
I was very impressed that it did what it did, because I was really thinking it was going to collapse at some point, because when you're going backwards at half throttle and you're still moving backwards, something's going to go south at some point.
Were you trims in or trims out when you made that landing?
Full trims in. I was in trim. I was in neutral before it all hit, and then once that hit, immediately I reached up and pulled them in, because it'll slow you down. So thinking if I could slow it down, I could control it a little bit more. Well, that didn't help any. And then I seen everybody else going haywire, so I was like, okay, let's just
do one thing.
ride this out and see what happens.
I'd be interested to see what your manual says about flying in turbulence with regards to the trims.
Yeah, I haven't read that since I've been home, but I want to look it up and see.
I would think you'd want to let the trims out so that the wind would be more stable and penetrate better. But
I could penetrate in neutral, but my fear was not knowing that new roller trim. You just barely touch it, and it's full trim out totally. Right. Well, then you can't brake. It's all tip steer. Well, I wasn't going to do that when all that hit. So my instinct was to pull it in, trim in like I'm going to land, and just get it on the ground.
Yeah.
Heck of a landing, man.
Yeah, it was a great landing.
It worked out. I was worried. I was a little nervous there about 50 foot. And I was like, when I went hard right one time, I was like, man, if this hits me when I'm hitting the ground, I'm going to be upside down.
Mm-hmm.
But it all worked out.
Yeah, that was a pucker factor of 10.
Ain't that what you got until you get on the ground?
Yeah, and what you had was nothing that I dealt with. I honestly, I'm telling you right now, I truly did not have to deal with that much. Was I able to fly in that condition? No. But at the time, that was the choice I chose or the situation I chose. And I still to this day think I wouldn't have changed it. I think I did pretty dang good.
And we don't know how far you all walked out.
We had about a mile straight shots, what it showed.
Well,
to get back to the road.
Yeah. Another question that I get is people look at the picture that I showed and they're like, oh, there's a road that would have been shorter and straighter. And I'm like, that's from 2 or 3 years ago is when that Google Maps were taken.
Yeah.
Because when, who was it? I think it was Scott. Scott had flown back over that area that I landed out in. And that road that everyone's saying is in the picture of that's there in the picture isn't there.
Yeah.
So personally, I didn't have time to think about where the best way was. I figured out that direction was closest to the Interstate 23, and that's where I was heading. So, and again, you're talking about someone who just dealt with missing high tension power lines.
Not once.
Yeah, almost got pushed back into them, and then had to land out with crazy amount of rotor. So some people were like, you should have landed on the riverbank. Well, when I let go of the throttle, I was still going backwards and up. None of that's where I want to be. Not with power lines behind me. So I took the option that I thought was best, and guess what? Nothing was broke. I landed safely, and I hiked out. I don't know what else. Any questions in the chat of what should or shouldn't have happened? Or, I mean, you're talking about a damn spur of the moment.
Yeah. Do you even think you guys would have been able to take off from where you were, Nick, again, if the winds calmed?
If the winds would have calmed down, we had enough room to foot launch out of where we were at. We had 2 trikes with us.
Yeah.
One of them, James could have took off, no problem. The other guy, I'm not so sure about. It was a tight little area, not a long runway, so you had to be on it. And we talked about hanging out for a little bit, thinking it would blow through. And by the time we got an hour and a half later, when we got to the road, of course it was gone. But you know, you're not just going to sit there and wait.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
walk out after dark. It was already bad enough walking through it in daylight. I wouldn't have wanted to do it in dark after dark.
No.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
Could
That
have
would have sucked.
been bad.
Shane, were you trying to stay up, or were you trying to land once you got over into that above the field?
So I honestly thought that I could hide behind the trees and continue to travel, and then come up away from the power lines and, make some distance and then come up over the trees. But once I got over there and I could see the top of the trees, my wing was kind of in the rotor and I was just above the soybeans, but at one point I got a little lift and then it just dropped me. And that's when I landed. I was just like, well, we're done. I'm going into the soybeans. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. So I figured, and if you notice on that landing, I stuck at 2 feet, never moved my feet, and just book, and that wing fell over, and I was like, well, I couldn't ask for a better landing. I mean, in the midst of everything, I thought it was phenomenal. Thank God I didn't have to run because the soybeans were tall. I'd have been face first.
It was hard enough to walk through it, much less run through it. I just explained that.
But yeah, I
can't
did get
imagine
in the midst
just
of
trying to
all
walk
that.
through that.
Yeah, in the midst of it, trying to get out of there, and something bit me in the ankle.
Yeah.
And I was like, seriously? Like, that's what I need right now. Just an added little pinch of salt to the wound.
That was the funniest part of the whole video. It started at 19 minutes to 19 minutes and 10 seconds. I just kept replaying it. I mean, I was glad you were okay, but that 10-second little loop, I just kept replaying it. If you haven't, you should look at 19 to 19:10. It's hilarious.
McElroy's favorite's at the very end.
Yeah, McElroy's favorite is the very end when I put up, did all this 9 months pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I never realized how fat I am until I put the camera down there. I'm like, good Lord.
We did climb a mountain the next day, though.
Oh, yeah, the very next day after walking 1.7 miles. Now, Dave, granted, you have a I don't even want to call it
a bum wheel.
Yeah. But just imagine carrying your paramotor and your wing for 1.7 miles with one stop.
Full tank of fuel.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yes. Because we didn't fly but 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were tempted to pour ours out, but
I never thought about that.
From it.
I never thought about dumping the fuel out to make it lighter. I'm telling you, once I packed everything up and I picked that paramotor up, I was like, I'm out of here. Like, I got to get out of this field.
And I probably wouldn't have made it out of the soybeans.
Well, I'm going to tell you right.
Behind Nick.
Yeah. You just walk behind Nick. But I will tell you that honestly, I don't put myself out. I don't show that much emotion normally when it comes to things I do for myself. And I was flipping proud of myself for making it that far. And honestly, when I first put my paramotor on in school, when I was told to go ahead and pick that paramotor up, and I sat on the ground, I picked it up and I stood up and I was like, I'll never walk 10 feet with this thing. And after that the first break that I took, and I turned around and looked how far I made it without stopping, which I would have assumed would have been about 7 or 8 times already. I was just like, dude, I'm going. I am going. If I knew if I put that paramotor down again, I'd have a whole lot of trouble standing back up and walking again. So I figured, again, either my heart explodes, my legs give out, or somebody comes and gets me up.
Or your shoes fall off.
Oh.
Yeah, don't ever stop and don't take it off. That's for sure, because you didn't want to set it down and have to pick it back up.
You had to do that once too, didn't you?
I didn't take mine off from the time we started walking. We stopped a few times, but I never took it off because if I'd have set it down in the soybeans, I'd have never got it back picked on my back.
See, right here. This is Walter. Walter saying if I went the wrong way. Hey, Walter, that photo that I took or I used from Google Maps is about 2 or 3 years old, if not more. And that road's not there. We know because Scott went back over and flew that area, and that trail or that road is not there. I took the road that I knew was going to be available.
And to be honest, you didn't trek straight through soybeans. You went on a
roundabout,
a roundabout,
a walkabout, a walkabout for Walter. Walter, I was on a walkabout.
Yeah,
That's right.
And trust me, if someone would have said, "Hey, that way's the shortest way," I would have went that way because I was not trying to do a marathon, even though I did. It's Walter. I'm not mad at you. That you're like the 15th person that said from the picture there was a shorter route. There was not a shorter route. And then when I got back, here's the best part. Mark McElroy is cooking pizzas in his pizza oven. Everybody's gathered around, and I was off by myself, just absolutely pissed at myself. And Krista came over, and she's like, "Hey, Ben made this and said that you need to try it." I was like, "I don't want it. I don't." At this point, I was so mad at myself because of the power line thing. Like, as a pilot, I take my responsibility, I guess, personally, if you will. And I was pissed at myself for missing those power lines. If now, don't get me wrong.
You rather hit them?
No,
Yeah.
no, I should have never been in that situation. As a pilot, I should have been aware of my surroundings, and I wasn't. And I literally was. Oh yeah, Will was over there stretching dough.
yeah.
No, everybody was doing their thing over there, and I'm over by my truck, just sitting there, just fuming. I was so mad at myself after I really sat back and thought about it. And I had one little slice of pizza. It was ice cold, like my own fault. But I truly just was just angry with myself. And when I get that way, I just need to be by myself. And I just took the time to reflect on what I did wrong and how to change it. And hopefully I'll learn from it, because I will tell you right now, nobody in this world can be harder on me than myself. Dude, I'm over there just absolutely destroying my ego and just saying how dumb you are and how stupid. Like, I was just wearing it out over there. And then Krista comes bebopping over. "I got some pizza." I'm like, "Throw it away." Like, I just was so mad at myself. I wasn't angry with anybody else. No one did nothing. It was just my lack of being aware of my surroundings, and it almost cost me. The day before, apparently the only anniversary that matters to me, because Krista doesn't have anything going on.
Oh,
29. God.
It wasn't the day before.
It was the day before.
It was 2 days before.
Same thing.
sent you two, Will.
Uh-oh.
Oh, got it.
Uh-oh,
So-
we got video.
That was no, that was the cool part. Is once we got back that night, everybody was over there making homemade pizza, and I'm talking about it was awesome. But everybody was except me. I'm just sitting there trying to recoup from the walk like Shane. But everybody was pitching in, doing some part of making pizza. It was crazy that there was 5 or 6 people at one time, either rolling dough or putting toppings or cooking or sweeping the pizza oven thing. I mean, it was crazy. And
It was good.
Yeah, it was amazing. And there was pizza for days.
Yes.
Yeah. And lots of Will was rolling out, working the dough. Ben was working the pizza oven.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark was throwing the toppings on. Like, oh, okay.
And Rick was organizing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't forget Mr. McElroy.
No.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Oh,
So before we get off that topic, I wanted to, I'd like to give my 2 cents for whatever
Yeah.
it's worth. and I'm only sharing my own experience based on my own experience personally. And Shane, I've already had incidents with power lines. So,
Yep.
But okay, so the first thing that struck me a little bit odd is, and I hate to say it, and I'm not going to call out any names, but after all that, it turns out, I thought at the time there were like 12 that had landed out. But after bringing that to the authorities' attention, the powers that be, there was no concern whatsoever. There was no push I was trying to get some more trucks out that way, So that was a big disappointment. On the other thing, again, from personal experience, is I've had a couple of flights where it scared the crap out of me. I mean, I thought it was going to be like the end, And after analyzing both of those, safely on the ground, it almost was like I had to land. I had to get on the ground just as soon as possible, and I did not consider the other alternatives, whatever they were, whether it was climbing or whatever. I mean, I didn't even consider, didn't enter my mind. The only thing that entered my mind was to get on the ground as soon as possible. And that might be the right call. I don't know. Everyone makes their own decisions or whatever. But if that's the only thing that you're thinking of, you're not going to be able to entertain any other ideas, even if they're better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've been there, and I know that feeling, and I've been blinded by got to get on the ground.
Well,
So,
self-preservation. It's the only option.
It is, and you're familiar with the ground. You're not as familiar with the air, But of course, it's the ground that's going to kill you, not running into air. So,
right.
It's just it's the only thing I can think of. I guess the other thing last thing is that when I was confronted with having to make an immediate decision, left, right, whatever, like when I went to when I had that one incident there at the farm, real close to the power lines there, like my foot touched the line.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what my best option was going to be, left or right, because I was kind of in the moment. I was in the zone. I was just enjoying the flight, but I wasn't paying as much attention to my surroundings, So we're all human, and we're all going to do the exact any mistake that's ever been made in a paramotor has already been made well before I ever got in the sport.
Right.
Yeah. I will say from this experience, my takeaway is for Fly It Per Gauge, I do plan on having at least 4 trucks and a U-Haul or whatever, a pull behind trailer, an enclosed trailer too, just in case 10, 12 people planned out, we can go get them.
And that's always been my experience at fly-ins, is the host makes it, coordinates things and makes it and shows concern, and it's their responsibility, they feel like, but I was getting more along the lines of, no, they didn't fill out form 1098 732-B section, whatever, it's like, no, I mean, most pilots, and I don't remember who said this, and it's true, but most pilots, when they land out, they're going to call the closest person to them.
Absolutely.
I called Nick.
Huh?
I called Nick and Brian both first, and neither one of them answered.
And then you called Krista.
And then I called Krista.
Well, we get notifications. Yeah, we get notifications when they land.
Yeah.
So you actually get a pop-up saying, hey, so-and-so landed, you might want to check on them. And depending on how their landing is, they literally will tell you that it's an emergency. So gaggle kind of like puts the fear in whoever is in case of emergency, your ice.
No, I my first call was to Krista. I just wanted her to know that I'm good. Like, I'm not hurt. Like, I just landed in the field, which is no different than landing at an LZ, except for I got a long ass walk like that. And I was shocked at I didn't want to call it it was stressful listening to everyone trying to come together, and everybody's throwing out their plans or whatever. And I was like, everybody's fine. Like, we're all on the ground. We're just standing in soybeans. Like, let's just move on. Like, let's plan.
Well, it was more like, how many are you? How many trucks do we need? What do we need?
I just need one truck.
Paramotors.
Screw everybody else. No, I'm just kidding.
It's actually been 4 paramotors in the back of his truck before, and 4 wings. So that I knew I could take. We had the 55-gallon, so I knew I could take at least 3. So that's where I rounded Wendy.
Yeah,
had no idea she'd never driven your truck before. She did not say that.
Yeah.
She did great.
Never.
And
She
how many
did great.
did she check? Did she check any curbs on the way with your rims and tires?
I don't
She
think.
did.
I don't think so.
She did not. She did not. She did a wonderful job. I backed her out and everything.
But yeah, it
made me walk down the freaking busy 490
I did not make you walk.
miles in 102-degree weather, might I add.
That's true. You said, "Is that Wendy?" I said, "Yes." You said, "I'm going to go with her." I said, "Okay."
Yep.
But I knew from where I landed out.
Huh?
What?
Go ahead, Nick.
I did the same we were talking about though. Like I did think about what do I need to do first. I mean, my initial thought was I want to get on the ground, but I'm in the middle of nowhere. So I went from about, I don't know, 300 feet up to 800, 900 feet and realized it was no better at that point. And then when I looked around, there's 30 pilots in there and they're scrambling. Some of them are going up and some of them are going down. I'm like, you know what? The best thing is probably just get on the ground and then we can figure it out. So that was my plan B, was to get on the ground and then figure it out. But plan A initially was I want to be higher up in case something does go haywire. I got a better shot than 200 feet. So I went there first, but it didn't do me no good. And then it made it 10 more minutes longer to even get on the ground.
So the trees are at 100 feet, basically, right? 90 feet or whatever.
Right.
You got up to how high?
I was at about 800. I climbed up to about almost 880 something. And then I gave up and I was like, no, it ain't getting no better. And I'm not moving. I'm still sitting still. So then I just started trying to get back down.
Did it smooth out at all?
No, not for me. No. Scott climbed up to 1,800 feet and got back to the LZ. And he said it was still rough, but he could penetrate it to get back running versus what we were doing was sitting there fighting 5 feet at a time. But he had to climb up to 1,800 feet to get it.
I wasn't going to risk going from the 60, 70 feet I was at to go to 1,800. No,
because you kept getting pushed back.
Yeah, I thought about. I've looked at that video. I mean, I've gone through that video. I've looked at every option. And I still, right now, I don't care how many people complain or say you shouldn't go behind the trees on the downward side. That was my only option. If I let off the gas and I just went up and backwards, and I was just like, screw this. I pulled a little right and I went immediately right. And I was like, sweet, I'm going behind the trees. I was like, I'm going to hide behind the trees. And that's what I did. And I think, the outcome was perfect for me. On landing, not in this, but again, if I would have decided to go up and back over the power lines, then to get closer to 23, never even crossed my mind. All I wanted to do was be on the ground.
Sounds like you did the right thing then.
Yeah, I'm still.
Everybody did the right thing. I think some of them made it and some of them didn't, but I think they all did what they were comfortable doing.
Well, they all made it.
Yeah.
No injuries that I've heard about.
No injuries, and I think only one person sustained.
Oh, Brooke Sheffield.
No, I wasn't saying things.
Had some damage.
He took a collapse on recovery. When his wing recovered, it absolutely folded his stuff up.
Yeah.
Not only that, he did a heli.
Yeah.
Spun him that way and then back.
Yeah. So he's fine, but his equipment is not
Right.
as fine as everyone else's.
Yeah.
Scuba said if I had a trike, I could have driven the 1.7 miles. Let me tell you, the one tree that I had to climb over, I almost had to take my motor off to get over it. It was a tree collapsed down in the field or on the trail.
Upwind or downwind? I have no idea.
Upwind, downwind, what?
You guys were
Oh,
upwind
the
of the
question
LZ?
by Andy.
Oh, we were. Nick, were we?
Somehow.
What direction did you take off?
We were into the wind. We were going into the wind when the front hit us. The LZ was behind us.
All right. So you were.
But we were not near the LZ.
No.
Like that would have been a fight.
I landed that video he took of me landing. I'm facing back towards the LZ, but we were getting blown at first, going away from the LZ, getting blown backwards like Shane was talking about. But I actually turned around and landed a different direction than what Shane did, and I'm still catching it from both directions.
And you guys started off together. Shane went off first, and they were miles apart.
Mm-hmm.
Miles apart.
Well, you guys tried to fly through it a little longer than I did.
Right.
And I think if you guys would have got closer to the hills or the mountains, whatever part of the United States you're from, Florida, those are mountains.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys would have got closer to that, you may have gotten a break, or you may have gotten worse because of the rotor.
I couldn't figure out the wind flying, because especially when I watch your video, we're flying at that creek and you went to the right and landed facing upwind away from the LZ. We turned around and got turned around going back to the LZ, thinking it would smooth out going downwind and speed up. And that wasn't the case. It didn't matter which direction we were going. We were getting hammered. We just happened to land facing the LZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thankful everything worked out well for everyone.
Yep.
Honestly, me doing the whole commentary thing as walking out was as kind of a
Keeping it light.
Yeah, I didn't want it to be too serious. I needed to do that, I guess, because I really did after I thought about all of it with the power lines and then hitting the wind, the gust front. It scared the crap out of me. And I just felt like I just needed to do something. And I'm sorry the damn camera was pointed down more than it should. I'm like, over there, and all you see is my hand pointing. I'm like, really? Of course, I didn't know that it was until after I watched the footage, and I'm like, oh, great. Like, I can't just do anything right. That's kind of the other thing. I was sitting over there looking at everybody having fun. I'm over there just pouting, dude. I was so mad at myself. Oh, so mad.
You probably wouldn't have been quite as hard on yourself had the rest of that happened. If you'd have just had that near miss with the power lines and the rest of the flight went normally, you probably wouldn't have been bashing yourself quite so hard, do you think?
No, the power lines are what had aggravated me, if you will.
Yeah.
We do have a question from Andy. Asked me how the legs felt the next day. Well, let me go ahead and tell you. I get this bright idea. Today's the day. We're gonna go. I think there was Smart Car, his wife, Krista, Lindsay, and myself. We decided we're all gonna go take the hike up to, what is it called? Ravens Hill or Ravens Mountain. It's a nice little hike. I think it's over 500 feet of elevation. Bad idea.
During a rainstorm.
Oh no, we made it to the top, and then we realized it's about to start pouring. So,
Yeah.
like, and Krista, I love her to death. She's the most amazing woman, but she is not coordinated enough to walk on loose gravel up or downhill. And I'm like, dude, we gotta go. We gotta go. Hey, I'm saying we gotta go. And she's like, okay, I'm going as fast as I can. I don't want to fall. And I'm like, if I push you, you didn't fall. Like, let's go. How many feet of elevation is the Ravens Creek or whatever hill, whatever it's called? It's over 500.
I have no idea.
And we were just talking about that. How well do you think you did on the way up and on the way down?
I sucked. Oh God. It was so bad.
It was good for you?
No, it was bad.
So Lindsay's phone went off about him doing a 36 minute mile. And he's like, "Whoa, that took."
No, he didn't say a word. He was being a very good gentleman, and I'm like, "You can pass me. It's fine. You don't have to stop. You don't have to do any of this." But one, I have this chest congestion, and 17, I'm way out of shape. But I'm climbing up, and I don't give up. But I was so ready to give up because it went up, and then it went down, and it went back up, and I'm like, "What is going on?"
Did you make it all the way to the top?
Yes.
Yes, she did. And when she got to the very top, and then you have to walk a little bit down.
Yeah, you have to walk down again
to get to the
overlook.
overlook.
Not going to be picked up by a helicopter. How else would?
No, you have to go. Once you get to the very top, then you have to take this side trail that's pretty steep to get to the overlook.
with moving rocks. When we wore, by the way, flip flops to climb up this mountain.
So Krista's like, I'm just gonna stay here and let me know if it's worth it. And I get down there and I look back and I go, oh, it's worth it. So Krista comes, and I swear to God, this girl falls. It takes 8 minutes when she falls. I see her slip. I see her slip and start to fall, and I'm just like, and how long does this take? And finally, she comes to her, lands on her butt, one leg back behind the other. Get down, Char. Get down. And then I get up, I help her up. And she's like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And we walk. The girl with the weak little glass ankles walks right to the edge of this rock. I'm like, maybe you ought to step back. She's like,
I'm literally trying to think of a different way down than the way we came up.
oh, yeah.
Like,
She's thinking about suicide is what she was thinking about.
It looks kind of like steps. That might take half of them on the way. Going down wasn't as bad as going back up, but I was like, dude, there's a lot of ups and downs coming up here. So there's going to be more ups than
it totally cooled off right before that front
It
came
did.
through. It totally cooled off. And once we come out of the woods, out of the trail to the main road, and this is no lie. This truly happened. There's lightning popping above us. And we walk right by the splash pad, and the girl that's working at the splash pad there, she's like,
telling our secret right now.
I know. She goes, hey, do you guys want to ride back so you don't have to walk in the field with the lightning? And we're like, yeah. And then she drove us to like the backside of the amphitheater thing.
Yeah.
And I go, right here's good. We don't want anybody to think we had to get a ride back.
They didn't drive us that far, but it was like still like, hey, we'll take it.
It was enough.
It was. And then I'm like sitting there thanking God the entire time. Thank God Ben didn't come. Because Ben's very competitive. Like he went to Ohio and found a gym he can go to. I'm like, if Ben's walking this thing and he's staying back with me, I am screwing up all his goals. But Lindsay's the same way. And I'm like, dude, keep going. It's fine. And he's like, 36-minute mile. I'm like,
yeah.
me, bro.
Hey, Nick, did you have flotation on at all?
No.
Man, that is just the dumbest thing ever. Oh, wait. I didn't either. Oh, we didn't make good choices.
No. Hey,
Tony,
I get home. Scott texted me when he got home. He goes, hey, I put that flotation on. I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, I know one of them works. I'm like, why does it work? And he sends me a picture. One side of it exploded in his camper on the way home. I don't know how. He says it's from the heat. I don't know how, but yeah. Something about when it gets hot in there and the moisture builds up in it, it'll set it off. I don't know. He sent me a picture of it, and one of them's blowed up, and one side is open, one side's not.
And
it can't get wet.
Angela, I don't know what you're talking about.
What's up, more severe? No, don't mind at all, man. Just keep it
No.
going.
Yep. Go right
Keep
ahead.
losing my bet.
More severse.
More severe.
Not severe. Severse.
Oh, Severse?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it? More.
Let's go to the next fly-in.
Yeah, what's the next fly-in?
Oh, sweet.
Soar the Shore, right?
Yes.
Or something.
Soar the Shore on the 18th through 18th is a Wednesday to Sunday.
Is that the one in South Carolina?
No, it's in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Oh, let me tell you about the 16-hour trip on the way up to Ohio, then the 15-hour trip on the way back from Ohio. Now I got to turn around and make a 12-hour trip to freaking to Virginia. Not really stoked about it, just to be honest. But yes, I am going. You
Why?
can arrive early. Scuba, I plan to arrive late, like probably on Thursday. Like, I don't.
Okay, so we've got like a mess here in the chat.
Uh-oh.
What are we
Back,
doing?
yeah.
So just turn the chat off if you can there.
I don't know how to do that.
What's the mess?
Mine's way messed up.
I have no idea. I don't ever have the chat up.
Moderators can kill that.
Yeah, there's some idiots in there now.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that is, but it's crazy.
Yeah. You can turn the chat off.
How?
Don't ask me, man. It's your channel.
Oh, Jesus.
What's going on?
It's like somebody, like a whole nother group jumped in here.
Yeah, some folks aren't being very nice.
Well,
this is a
Yeah,
nice
like-
channel.
I got like 40 pages of chat running, just solid.
Yeah, some people don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking at.
Well, I mean, to be honest, everyone was as safe as they could have been during this event.
21
Everything
people.
went off well, besides the landing out, and they were picked up. Everyone was safe. Very few casualties to equipment, but no person. To my knowledge, right? For yours too, Will?
Yep.
Because Will was part of the ground crew.
Hold on. There we go. I'm in.
He's in doing something. I don't know.
I'm trying to kill this. I don't even know how to do it.
Just get you 123 people watching.
How
that's
many?
Good.
120.
They're all.
Wow.
It's all scam.
So while you're doing that, anyways, let me just give a shout out to Kramer, Tony Marzano, Andy Busby, Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane, John Wayne, Paramotor USA. Hey, she's got a show on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's called Lindsay's Treehouse. Check it out. Nick J, DP, Cupcake Krista. Scuba also has a show on Friday, YouTube, 8 p.m. You can go to paramotoroutlaw.com for information on that. The other Nick is in the house. Mark McElroy, Greg Laney, Mr. Dana 54, Angela Preslick, Walter Priori from Australia, Bill H. And that's what we got. You guys rock.
Yeah.
Thank y'all. I don't know who's calling.
Hello. What's up with you?
What's your shirt say, Kristen?
Hit the plus button and hold it.
I'm following that anymore. So, otherwise, is there any news anybody has
Right.
to share?
No, other than
Yes.
Shore to
Or
Shore.
just hit the power. No, just hit the power button. Turn it all off.
Yeah, Shore to Shore. But there's also another one coming up too.
All right.
That I do
All right,
want to
Love you.
promote.
Bye.
Let me find it here. That.
Well, I'm getting a lot of
Tell you energy.
Are you showing anything, Will?
No, I'm not gonna. Gotta find it. There we go.
I've never seen so much scam.
Yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
I don't know how to
So
turn
what
chat off.
we'll do is, we'll just we'll turn on the what Scuba does on his show.
What? Oh, the 9-bot thing.
Well, I'll tell you about it later. And it's pulling up now. So this is a new fly-in. It's the first inaugural Seven Oaks PPG. And let me just go to the page here because I can pull up the PPG PPC event. Larry Shamard has worked really, really hard on the setup that he's got now. He basically has made it an air park that it wasn't an air park, I don't believe, when he started. So he really had to work hard. The event is on October 25th to October 27th. So yeah,
Where's
check
that?
it out. Oh, good question. It is in Fairfax, South Carolina. So it says $20 registration, free camping in the Pines. There's a fishing tournament on Saturday, and RVs, trailers, and tents are welcome. And it'll have porta potty service as well. So there you have it.
There you have it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, also Easy Pace is coming up as well. That's September 11th. So that's like,
Oh.
yeah, that's this weekend. Right? Yeah.
Easy Pace, Shane likes Easy Pace. He's never been to Soar the Shore, so.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then, of course, Endless Foot Drag. That's also in September.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's out west, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too far for me.
Yeah, it's too far.
Yeah, it's too far for most of us.
There's a lot of air to be flown between here and there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tony,
What's he saying?
bring it, bitches.
So he's going to Endless Foot Drag, probably?
Who, Tony?
Yeah.
I think he's talking about the folks in chat.
Oh.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the children in chat.
Yeah, if you guys end up getting banned on accident, just message me and I'll straighten it out. But I try to go through there and get rid of those who are messing up. I think I did pretty good. Because I don't know how to turn the... Oh.
Just kill the comments.
Yeah, I don't know how. Or I would.
I mean, the whole point of the show is to have people's views.
Oh, I don't care about views. I mean...
No, I mean their opinions, like what their thoughts are, and then we can elaborate. That's what I'm saying.
All the views they wanted to see was not what we were going to show.
Yeah.
You must not have seen those, Krista.
I didn't. I can't have the chat up. Otherwise, I can't see anything. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've stopped looking at the chat, so.
I did too. After they told me to take my shirt off, I had to quit. I was like, no, I'm good.
You already did that.
Yeah, I already did that.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, you missed it. He already did it.
That's what you get for advertising No Pants Tuesday.
I know.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Oh,
But it is 8:59, and I think we've had a really good show.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
What did Scuba
Glad
just
everybody's
say?
safe.
Yes. Well, I thought we had a couple announcements, but I guess we don't. We'll wait.
Yeah, these suckers right here don't want to share none of their cool stuff.
None of their cool stuff.
Me?
Yeah.
Or I thought we were talking about Will. Will's got the big fancy plaque.
No, man, we've already done that.
We did the fancy plaque.
We're on to you
What-
now.
What do you got, Nick?
I told you, make something up, dude.
I ain't gonna make nothing up, but I did. Me and Mark have been dealing with ParalifePPG.com for a month or so. So I have acquired Paralife PPG now. So you can go
Cool.
see. I'm gonna move all my paramotor stuff off my e-bike page, and I've created ParalifePPG.com. And we'll get YouTube going on it too soon, but the web page is up and going, still working on it. But I'm gonna move everything there, so it'll be a lot easier to versus trying to go through my bike page and pick out what you're looking for. It works, but it's just not practical.
Right.
Hey,
So-
while you're buying an e-bike, you can buy a prop too. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I will say Brian is very impressed with your prices. He's actually probably going to go with your strobe light.
strobe. Yep.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of stuff I'm working on that'll be added to the page. So it'll keep coming. It'll keep building. So it'll be nice.
And you got
Paralife
lots of people
shirts.
wearing those shirts. Yeah.
I'm working on some new shirts and some styles. So there'll be the current shirts that were available, and then we've got working on some new ones that are the polyester shirts, no whatever, dry fit,
Yeah,
long sleeve, short sleeve.
that's what.
Working on-
What's the Texas big flight school, Texas. Wings. Dang it, man! Having a brain fart. What's the name of the big school in Texas?
Houston.
No,
No.
not Houston Paramotor. That's a good one.
And it's not Paris Swag.
No, it's not Paris Swag.
Mm-mm.
Oh man.
What school did you go to, Nick?
Lone Star Paramotor.
Lone Star.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, I should have got
Ron
that.
Ferran, yeah.
Kramer had it. She's first.
Well, she lives in Texas, so hopefully.
Yeah, melting her butt cheeks off out there.
Yeah.
How was it possible that it's hotter in Ohio than it was Florida?
It was hotter in Ohio than it was North Carolina too. It was ridiculous, man.
It was miserable. hot.
Yeah, so I will say this: Shane and Krista and Smart Car Brian and Paramotor NC. Who else? Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was it, right? And me, we were all sitting at Dairy Queen, looking at the Dairy Queen sign, and and it said 102 degrees.
It went all the way to 104.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Man, freaking hot.
Yeah, and then we have the Paralife picture to help the Paralife page.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Will, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me online at willflyppg.com, or you can find me on YouTube, search for Will Fly. Also, if you're a pilot or want to be a pilot, live in the Southeast U.S., United States, check out our Facebook page, Southeast Paramotor Group.
And Nick J, where can we find you?
You can find me at justusebikes.com or paralifeppg.com.
DP, where can we find you other than getting beat up by Denise?
Uh-oh. I don't know if it's you or me.
Uh-oh.
What?
DP?
You're
Yeah,
there.
where can we find you, DP?
You just froze. Probably it was a good thing that you did freeze.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Where can we find you, sir?
Maybe I froze.
We can
All
hear
right. We can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I I don't have anything cool on YouTube at this time, so
You can find them here on
let me
Tuesday
get to
night.
flying.
Tuesday night.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks for
That
being a
is right.
sellout. Thanks for
Tuesday
being a
nights.
sellout for the family farm.
Huh?
Just that. Oh, my wife is not here, so I can't go nowhere.
She actually sent me a text saying, I don't even know what state he's in right now. I was like,
Oh, sellout. Sellout.
I'm in a state of denial.
You guys can find
Yeah,
me here.
well,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
that's just you don't have a wing. You're not doing a lot of flying. That's all.
That's true.
I wasn't
true.
gonna borrow a wing.
It's gonna change.
Yes,
It
it's
is.
gonna change.
yes.
So the shore is in 2 weeks, just so you know.
Right on, man.
Okay.
All right,
Awesome.
you guys can find me here at Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane on Tuesday nights, and PPG Shane on TikTok. With that being said, we will see you guys next week. Peace.
I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter. 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 No filter, I got no filter.
Y'all want to ride some of the coolest bikes around? Just Us e-bikes. Check out these cool, fast beach cruisers. We've got many styles, colors, sizes, men's, women's, you name it, we got it. The best looking bikes around. Check us out, justusebikes.com.